The first scream echoed through the metallic halls of the cruiser like a warning siren no one had programmed. "You idiot! You stole a human child." Captain Vyrex's voice cracked, not from anger, but from something far worse. Terror. Pure, unfiltered terror. The crew froze where they stood, their scaled and armored forms suddenly feeling very, very fragile. In the center of the cargo bay, surrounded by blinking containment fields and scattered loot, stood Ralthek, the youngest raider aboard, holding something small, wrapped in a thermal blanket, staring back at them with wide, curious eyes. A human child. Alive. Awake. And completely unafraid. Ralthek shifted nervously. "It was easy," he muttered. "The colony had minimal defenses. I thought it would be valuable. Humans trade anything, don't they?" Silence followed. No one moved. No one even breathed. Then First Officer Dree whispered, "You don't understand. We don't trade with humans." The child giggled. The sound was soft, innocent, and it hit the crew harder than a plasma blast. Captain Vyrex stepped forward slowly, every instinct screaming at him to eject the cargo bay into space. "Put it down," he said carefully. "Now." But Ralthek hesitated. "It's just a child," he insisted, trying to sound confident. "What can it possibly?" The ship's warning system erupted. A low, ominous tone spread through every corridor. Navigation lights flickered from blue to deep, pulsing red. Then the AI spoke, its voice suddenly strained. Unidentified fleet signatures detected. Multiple warp entries. Surrounding vessel. The crew turned toward the viewport. Space itself seemed to tear open as massive warships emerged from warp, sleek, black, and utterly silent. No markings. No signals. Just presence. Dozens of them. No, hundreds. The child clapped its hands, delighted. "Ships," it said happily. Captain Vyrex felt his limbs weaken. "They found us," Dree whispered. Already, someone else croaked. No warnings, no negotiation. Ralthek finally lowered the child, placing it gently on the deck. "Well, what is happening?" he asked, his voice trembling now. The child looked up at him, tilting its head. "You're in trouble," it said simply. The main screen flickered. A transmission forced its way through every system without permission. No encryption. No delay. Just immediate dominance. The image that appeared was a human. A woman. She sat in a command chair, her posture relaxed, but her eyes were cold enough to freeze stars. "This is Commander Alara Voss of the Human Defense Fleet," she said calmly. Her voice was quiet, but it carried absolute authority. "You have taken something that belongs to us." No one spoke. No one dared. She leaned forward slightly. "You have 1 minute to return the child unharmed." Ralthek swallowed hard. 1 minute, he whispered. "That's barely." The ship shuddered violently. Not from an attack, but from something far worse. The scanners began screaming. "Gravitational weapons charging," the AI announced. "We are locked in a containment field. Engines unresponsive." Captain Vyrex clenched his fists. "They're not attacking," he realized. "They're holding us." Dree's voice dropped to a whisper. "They're making sure we can't run." The child stood up, wobbling slightly, and wandered toward the viewport, completely ignoring the tension. "Mama's here," it said happily, pressing its tiny hands against the glass. Ralthek's chest tightened. "Mama?" The countdown appeared on every screen. 0:45. Commander Voss didn't blink. 45 seconds, she said. The crew erupted into panicked whispers. "We're dead. We're all dead. I told you never to raid human space." Captain Vyrex turned sharply. "Silence," he barked, though his own voice shook. He looked at Ralthek. "Give the child back." Ralthek hesitated again, but this time, it wasn't arrogance. It was fear. "What if they kill us anyway?" he asked. The child turned around, frowning slightly. "Mama doesn't like mean people," it said. "But she's fair." Dree stepped forward quickly. "That's your only chance," she said. "Humans are strange. Protective. Territorial. But they have rules." "Rules?" Ralthek echoed. Yes, Dree said. And right now, the only rule that matters is this. Give them their child back before they decide we don't deserve to exist. 0:20. The timer ticked down mercilessly. Captain Virex made his decision. Prepare a shuttle, he ordered. We return the child, personally. The crew moved instantly, fear driving them faster than any command ever could. Ralthek carefully picked up the child again, his hands trembling. The child looked at him and smiled. You're funny, it said. Ralthek almost broke. Minutes later, or what felt like seconds, they stood inside the shuttle bay. The massive human warships loomed outside like silent gods. The shuttle doors opened. Space stretched before them, but a corridor of light formed, a path, guiding them forward. They're letting us approach, Dree whispered. Of course they are, Virex replied grimly. They want their child. The shuttle moved slowly, escorted by invisible forces. No weapons fired. No threats issued. Just overwhelming, controlled power. When they reached the human flagship, the hangar doors opened like the maw of something ancient and unstoppable. Inside, rows of human soldiers stood waiting. Still, silent, watching. The shuttle landed. The ramp lowered. Captain Virex stepped out first, every instinct screaming at him that this was the end. Ralthek followed, holding the child. The moment the child saw the humans, it lit up with joy. Mama, it shouted. The formation broke instantly. Commander Alara Voss stepped forward, her cold expression shattering as she knelt down, arms open. The child ran to her, laughing. She held it tightly, closing her eyes for a brief moment. Relief. Pure, human relief. Then she stood, and the warmth vanished. Her gaze locked onto Virex and his crew. The temperature in the hangar seemed to drop. You will explain, she said quietly. Virex lowered his head. It was a mistake, he said. A grave one. Yes, she agreed. It was. The silence stretched. The weight of it crushed them. Ralthek stepped forward suddenly. It was my fault, he said. I took the child. They didn't know. Virex turned sharply. Ralthek. No, Ralthek insisted. If anyone deserves punishment, it's me. Commander Voss studied him for a long moment. Then she looked at the child, who was now clinging to her shoulder, watching curiously. Did they hurt you? She asked softly. The child shook its head. No. He was nice, it said, pointing at Ralthek. The entire hangar went still. Voss's eyes flickered back to Ralthek. Something changed, but only slightly. You made a catastrophic mistake, she said. One that could have ended your entire species. Ralthek swallowed. I understand. She stepped closer. Each footstep echoed like a countdown to judgment. But you did not harm the child, she continued. And you returned them. Virex dared to breathe again. So, what happens now? He asked carefully. Voss stopped in front of them. Now, she said, you leave. The crew blinked in disbelief. Leave, Dree repeated. You are alive because of one thing, Voss said, glancing at the child. Remember that. She turned away, already dismissing them. If we ever see your ships near human space again, she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. The unspoken threat hung heavier than any weapon. Virex bowed his head deeply. Understood. They backed away slowly, never turning their backs until they reached the shuttle. As the ramp closed and the shuttle lifted off, the crew finally exhaled. No one spoke for a long time. When they returned to their ship, the human fleet was already gone. No trace. No signal. As if they had never been there. Ralthek collapsed against the wall, shaking. We were dead, he whispered. We were already dead. Captain Virex looked at him, his expression hard but not unkind. No, he said. We were spared. Dree nodded slowly. Because of a child. The ship drifted in silence for a moment longer. Then Virex gave the only order that mattered. Set a course, he said. Away from human space. Forever. And no one ever questioned that command again.